Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another podcast episode on this here YouTube channel. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you guys if you tuned in to my last video with my first ever guest on this channel. If you didn't, you should check that out later. It was really fun to film, but now we are back to regular scheduled programming. And y'all, I don't even know what I want to call this specific podcast episode. I've just been inspired by some BS and some great women. The contrast is crazy that I've been seeing on TikTok lately. I feel like this is low-key a part 2 to my one video about how misogyny will not save you from it. That's to my ladies who still carry the misogynistic beliefs in their head, because misogyny is not exclusive to men, which we see on a daily basis. We see every generation we go back and see what advice older people, older women give. And I don't know, I just feel like yapping about it because I'm tired of hearing about the BS, but I feel like it's conversations to be had, especially for the younger generation. Like, I seen a TikTok before where it was like, I really hope that younger people, like teenagers, like who are in their developmental years, do not be taking the gender war seriously. Like, we can't have little boys really believing all women are gold diggers and that they should hate women and that all girls just want, it's really scary to think about the red pill content and the Men with Podcast really becoming younger people's beliefs. That's why you need just like me to step up. I had seen this take the other day that I 100% agree with, where this girl was talking about like a lot of men be so shook in big 2026 that women have standards, that we're not just going for anything. I mean, I say we, there are still some, right? There's diversity. There's some men who appreciate women who have standards and who have standards back. And there's some on both sides who are just going. But they were saying that so many men are shocked when women have standards and don't put up with stuff, because a lot of men are low-key raised by misogynistic women. Women who they've seen their parents was a whole mess, but they still stayed together and their mom settled for a lot of stuff. Or I seen a story the other day, the type of grandma where this one lady said she confided in her grandma about getting cheated on, and the first thing her grandma said is, "What did you do? Like, what did you do to make him want to do that?" Like, these are real sentiments that young people hear from the older generation. That's settled. And no shade. Well, still shade. I also am very aware, obviously, of the differences. I'm Gen Z. I'm 2002 born. And I know things were a lot different. Like, when I look back at even my own grandma's stories, like, I know it wasn't that easy. One, I've been in an abusive relationship. I know I'm not here victim blaming for people who stay in cycles of abuse and take a long time to get out. That's not what I'm talking about. I also know that things were different. Like, sometimes divorce was not an option. Not having a man was not an option, or you would have nothing for your kids, right? So there's different sentiments, but also I think in women who come from times like this and still carry these sentiments, knowing that things are actually different now, your granddaughter can call the police and they might do something. We're still, we do have a rapist pedophile as a president, so that one's, but your daughter or your granddaughter can have her own kid without a man, can have her own place without a man. Like, times are very different. So it's just like, why would you bring that? Like, if anything, it should be the opposite of you telling your granddaughters and grandsons the opposite, and to be better than the time where a lot of people either didn't have a choice or the choice was much harder, but still possible. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look back on grandparents on both sides, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And I luckily don't really have like grandmas. My grandpas are different, but I don't really have grandmas who spew the type of stuff that I heard, like that one story. But on both sides of my grandparents, who are in their 70s and 80s, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the relationships. You know what I'm saying? times were different. But also, like I said, everyone still has a choice. Again, I'm not victim blaming. On one side, I do have a grandma who was a single parent when my dad hit a certain age, who did leave the abusive relationship and do it all on her own. Obviously, I don't know all the details. I just know what people have told me, but shout out to her. So, you know, there's different sides of the spectrum. But yeah, I honestly just think in different communities, it really, like, the misogyny is really so weird. Because I think to my community, if you're black like me, I know you've seen Love and Basketball. I grew up hearing that was the cutest, most ideal love story ever. When I think back and watch it when I'm older, that movie is not cute. Okay, childhood enemies to lovers, cute. When they got to college, ghetto. He literally cheated on her. And then when they got back together, he cheated on his fiance to be with her. And then it's like, oh, so cute. She got her basketball dreams, but he, like, it's not, that's not cute. That's not ideal. But this is like movies that people in my community look up to, and I looked up to at one point. Like, you know, it's just crazy. A lot of women in general are taught this whole, like, the responsibility of a relationship, partnership, equal balance. No, all on the woman. You know, and I think this especially came from before, like when women were typically in the home, not really working like full-time caregivers, although I am black and black women were basically always in the field since we've been here in America. But, you know, even without that, like, to me, it's just crazy how back then and even sometimes now people still harbor this idea that although a mom is stay at home or she's a full-time caregiver and stuff like that, she still doesn't deserve, like, respect, kindness, loyalty, because, oh, you don't have to work. That's just one sect of life. She still has mental health. She still wants personal time. Like, it's really strange. And even in situations not like that, it's just like, I'm not trying to say that women never do wrong. Obviously, both sides can be abusive, can be cheaters and all that. But I specifically see a lot when it comes to men's wrongdoing and men doing stuff that girls aren't okay with. It's this whole sentiment of just like, from men and a lot of times from outside perspective, if they still harbor those misogynistic beliefs of just stick it out, like, you guys have gone so far or you guys have had kids and stuff. And that one really never sits right with me. Because again, I'm a girl where no matter how much I grow or preach to the choir or whatever, nothing is above me. Like, nothing is above me. So, like, that one about the kids really gets me. If I were to be married, have someone's baby, whatever, and then they decided to cheat or do something crazy and just stay for the kids thing. I feel like that in itself is letting misogyny win. Especially if I had a daughter. So I tell her, oh, just because it's came so far, like, I should just let go of my self-respect for you because I want you to have two parents in the home. No, the even greater lesson is showing kids that you don't deal with like that, no matter who it's from, no matter if it's from your husband. Like, you're showing that the bar is up here. I mean, maybe little younger kids might not be able to understand it, but when they're older, they definitely will. This whole wanting women to accept whatever and deal with whatever because we're the nurturers and we're the fixers and stuff leads me to this hobosexual conversation on TikTok. I said hobo, not homo. I would never diss my LGBTQ plus baddies like that. Y'all know we big LGBT over here. I said hobo. I think this word is so funny that they made up. So if you guys are on TikTok, I know y'all have seen the video of that homeless man shooting his shot for dating on TikTok, saying this and this, I don't have this and this, but I think I still need a relationship and deserve blah, blah, blah. I've seen different opinions on this, right? The basic one that I'm sure a lot of other women agree with. What are you doing looking for a relationship while you're in this state? That should be the least of your worries. First should be having a place to live, having income, like basic things. And a lot of people are turning around, like when women are calling this video ridiculous, people are like, oh, so you guys just don't care about homelessness and like people like that just don't deserve love. That's not what I said at all. That's not, well, they're talking about other women's sakes, but that, at least for me, that is not what I mean. I tell you something as someone who's been with the homosexual. If you're not new to my channel, you know this is a little, this conversation is getting me because this was me a year ago. I started dating this guy. He's really cool. I thought everything was working out. He was paying for everything. Couple months into dating, he calls me crying and he's like, my living situation got messed up. I can't live here anymore and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you know, typical compassionate, as you know, as long as you keep your job and stuff and you keep looking. I mean, I don't know what to say. I've never been in that situation, but just comforting and encouraging him. And he's like, wow, like, I feel like if you were any other girl, like, you would have just left me. And I should have, right? Because I found out that whole story about him getting kicked out, blah, blah, was a lie. He had not had a place to stay since we started dating. He just lied and didn't tell me that to trick me in a relationship. And then, oh, let me test how she'll react to me being unhoused. Oh, she's okay with it? Oh, okay, period. Then she's okay with it from the jump. Yeah, I found out maybe a couple weeks later he was lying. Like, he slipped up when he was talking about something. I was like, before, but I thought you had been living with. And he was like, actually, I haven't had a place to live since. And stories like my story is why I'm right there with the women who are talking about this man on TikTok looking for a girl. Mind you, I didn't meet this man by accident. I met him on a dating app. Why are you on a dating app when you're unhoused? Get on Indeed. Get on. I'm sorry, this man also, and also I'm giggling because what I went through, and I still stayed with this man even after figuring out he was lying the whole time and being gaslit of, why are you mad? I told you eventually and you decided to stay. That's not the point, bitch. That's not the point. You lied and manipulated how your life was to get me. You weren't honest from the truth. Hey, if you would have said, I don't have a place to stay from the jump and I decided to date you, what am I going to cry about? I knew it from the jump, but I didn't know. Like, lie, it's like they don't understand the lying and deception, but I told you eventually. Yeah, whatever. I see a lot of parallels with my ex-boyfriend and this man on TikTok, how it's just so weird. Like, you can, I mean, I guess that guy's a little different because he's being honest from the jump about his situation, but you can lie and deceive women and be at your lowest point that maybe some men wouldn't even accept from you, and they still expect, like, they want to give you nothing and still expect the caring, the nurturing, the like my ex lying about his life, he was not caring and nurturing towards me because his mental health was shit, obviously, because he's unhoused, understandable. So always irritable and rude to me. So you don't, not caring and nurturing towards me, but want me to be that towards you. Because anytime I want to raise my voice or make a face or something that had me fucked up, how are you gonna blah, blah, blah. I'm already dealing with too much. I can't deal with this, bro. Like, you want to talk about Instagram and stuff? Bitch, it's a like, it's like after all that lying and manipulating me into a situation when you have better priorities to worry about, they still want more. They still want what they can't give to you. And I also had he had a weird boy mama who was co-signing him too. I literally have a story time about that. Weird boy mom. Go check it out where you could see the stuff she had to say about me, who was helping her son mentally, buying him stuff, sending him money. Ah! Sorry guys. I can't believe that was only a year ago and I was doing that. Letting him guilt me, by the way, being like, oh, I sent you for this because I know you're struggling stuff, but you said you would pay me back this paycheck because you still had a job. And he's like, oh, well, now I can't do this and that. I'm like, but I need for stuff. And then be like, oh, I'm so ungrateful. At least you have a place to live. Like, you can't wait, blah, blah. Bitch, the manipulation was so, like, you're literally giving me nothing, babe. I can't even come over to your house. And you want to get an attitude with the only one who's supporting you? Because he did not have a supportive family checking in on him every day, helping him with anything. And it's just like, ladies, please don't fall for men in videos like that. Like, it's just like I said, I really hate when men like that be thinking about the future. And wait, that might come out wrong. I remember this man, y'all know another TikTok line I see where it says a lot of these men just want a baby. They don't want to be fathers and husbands. They just want a baby and a wife. This was also my ex. First of all, why are you thinking about how many kids you want us to have? This is only a couple months in, you got a place to live. How about you think about a house? Like, this is the same man, like any other man. Like, I'm sure any girl can relate. Wanting to do unprotected. Why would I do that? First of all, why would I do that in general when a relationship is so early? No shade to the people who can, because I know y'all get down like that. But why would I do that? And then also, why would you risk that knowing you have no place to stay? What's gonna happen if it happens? Him, oh, I'd be so happy. Like, not gonna lie. I remember he would talk about how I just want so many kids. Like, I want so many kids because I love kids. He was talking about how, which I should have dumped him for this. I'm not, no shade, y'all. I feel like I can't date a man unless I know he would get a vasectomy. Because what do you mean? He was saying, like, I would never get that because I love kids and I plan to have all these businesses and have all these houses. How about you focus on the first apartment, little nigga? He would say all this stuff like, I'm going to have the money for it. So yeah, I just want to keep having kids. I'm never going to have that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll have as many. Bitch, are you the one pushing them out? Like, that is a threat. That is a threat. Like, why do the people who don't have the vulva and the uterus, why are you planning like that? Like, again, me saying, I'm like, well, I'm only having two. Like, I want people to have a sibling. But again, when I think of being a mom, I do not think about just financial. I think the biggest component of having a kid is emotionally and mentally. I want to emotionally and mentally be there for my kids. I don't want to have 8 kids and have to spread my time through 8 people. Also, think about having kids too. What if one of them is twins? You have more than expected. What if some have special needs or disabilities? That requires even more. And bitch over here just talking about, yeah, I'm gonna just keep having kids because I'll, like, no, I think about, like I said, mentally and emotionally. I don't want to spread that through, 5 people? Like, it's already hard for yourself. And in this economy, like, why would I? Me just talking about this, realizing how this man was a walking red flag, y'all. This is also my first older man. So keep in mind, also 5 years older than me, didn't have shit, but wanted everything from me. And that's what the fuck we're talking about. But nonetheless, whether you are in a crazy situation with someone who manipulated you into a relationship like me, or you're just with someone who has you fucked up and thinks you're going to be all these things and be so devoted that they can't be for you. Like, why is it like men always like the reverse psychology? It's like when you don't give a fuck, they care. Just like that, man. Especially leaving men alone who have never just had an end. Like, you're cut, you're blocked. I'm not talking to you because we're not together. They're so used to that back and forth. And then maybe we could, like, I love humbling niggas like that. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll never hear from me. Have you guys seen that Quan Blackwell video? Where she was saying that she loves when a man does her wrong because he'll never hear from her again. And she does that whole cape. Y'all just had to be there. But yeah, I just want y'all to be careful. Everybody, because everyone can be manipulative, but especially my ladies, especially my young ladies, y'all. Why I look at my analytics and my majority audience is actually older than me. I'm 23. I think it said my main audience was like 25 plus. Okay, but I also had like a lot of people my age and teens too. Don't let nobody play with you. Like, it's just, that's what I'm saying. I love living in this generation where men will still try to humble you and be like, you can't have all that. You can't have all these standards. You can't. Actually, I fucking can. And I could keep adding to the list. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're done. We're done. We're done with the list of men who just, I want this. I want this. I don't care. Do you have what I want? Like, Like, what? Let's talk about that. I think that is just one of the most liberating feelings as a woman when you're taught your whole life, like, you should just deal with this and you're supposed to be the one to take on all of this. When you realize, actually, I don't have to do a damn thing I don't want to. Like, at all. Like, no matter who it's from. Like, once you turn 18, especially if it's from your mom, your dad, like, you don't like that behavior, you don't like what, you literally don't. You literally don't have to deal with it, because who are you? But especially with a man, like, I know in relationships, it's really hard. Like I said, when it's time and investment in someone you love, but you literally, like, it's literally your choice, babe. Unless you're in an abusive relationship, I know it gets tricky because I've been there. And even if people don't feel like you're physically being held there, the mental manipulation is really hard. So my heart goes out to anyone who relates to where I have been or stuff like that. But yeah, this isn't 1940. Like, girls can literally, like I said, have it all and not have a husband, or not have a husband and still have a kid and do whatever they want. And I feel like sometimes we just forget about it. Or like I said, we have older people fear mongering us about this stuff. And like, yeah, you can literally do whatever you want. And that is something that I stand 10 toes down on too. Because especially if you guys follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I've been going viral on Instagram a lot lately, because one of the things I've decentered since I became an adult is religion, specifically the Abrahamic ones. I grew up Christian, not heavily Christian, but those are man-made systems and male-made systems. All you have to do is read through it once, and you can see that it's not made for you, babe. It's not made for you. Whether you still choose to do that or have a relationship with God, that's your business. But if you want to look at the history for what it is, it's misogynistic. And so I have gone viral quite a few times. And obviously you guys see my channel, what I do, how I'm super consistent, because this is something I want to do. This is some money I want to make. And I also just love making videos. I've been that little girl who literally picked up a camera and recorded my haul for no reason. I love what I do. And I've gotten comments from, family members trying to look out for me, but also from, of course, men on the internet, people being like, what you're trying to do, like, people are always telling women to censor themselves. You guys are always telling women to censor themselves. You're never telling these male streamers who are hella disrespectful, homophobic, use slurs, talk poorly about, you guys are never telling them to censor themselves, and they don't have to censor themselves for brand deals. So that really has me up. Like I said, even this president talking about, oh, maybe you should censor yourself or censor your beliefs and stuff. No, again, this isn't 1905. Like I said, if that can become our president, these men can talk crazy like that and still not lose a brand deal. Do I have to censor myself for? And obviously, yes, I know I have intersectionality. It's a little bit different, and I'm gonna have to work a little harder to get to the top because I'm Black and a woman. But y'all never silencing me. It's just like when I have my own future brands, I'm gonna look for outspoken people like me too, and women who, yeah, are outspoken. Because like, that really blows me when people always try to get women to censor themselves, when y'all don't have that same energy for men. So, but yeah, you guys, thank you for listening to another podcast episode. This was very healing for me. And like I said, just a lot of different topics I've been seeing on TikTok lately. And I hope it is healing for you, whether you are a woman who I'm sure has heard some of these things and might have some of these things planted in their head. Remember, girl, you can do whatever you want. And just people in general too. Like I said, I think the gender wars get really scary. And I already know this is why we need even men to consume content like this to understand. Because I already know there's who's going to be like, oh, so basically you're teaching women to hate men. Like, I see how they're under Drew follows comments like that all the time. Like, you didn't listen to the video. I'm talking to women and to people and to men to not get caught up in the content that's on the other side of the spectrum, because it's so dangerous for the world and for women I'm teaching, well, not even teaching, because I feel like I'm not like an advice giver. I'm just speaking my mind. But to not deal with terrible men. Why would I want a girl who's in a happy relationship with a man who treats her amazingly, who is a good guy? Why would I tell her to leave him? Like, what? Like, it just be going straight over their heads. But thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast episode. Don't forget to check out my other videos and podcast episodes. I have a playlist. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.